NFL draft nerds, welcome in. Really appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate you following along with the Senior Bowl coverage here at Rogue Football. If you are an NFL draft fan, you are in the right place. It is all NFL draft all the time here at Rogue Football. So let's get into it. I have some questions coming out of the Senior Bowl, and they are based around individual prospects, generally speaking. So got to start off with Landon Jacksoon, the edge rusher out of Arkansas, who he's big. Big dude, 6'5". He's 200. Pulling him up here. 6'5.5", 273 pounds. He has 33 and 5/8 inch arms. He has some pretty impressive tape. Like on tape, you see some rare flexibility at someone his size. You see some really smooth athleticism. It didn't translate to the Senior Bowl practice field very often, and that's something you have to kind of weigh. Like, are you just gonna say, you know what, we've seen this guy on tape the last couple of years, we feel good about his game, and we're not gonna worry about it? Or is there something more to this where, I mean, he played in the SEC. It's not like he didn't play against good competition, and he's had some tremendous performances throughout his career. I think he should be a starter in the NFL. He didn't look like one at the Senior Bowl. So how do teams navigate that? Where does he end up landing? My guess is he's still a second round pick, but it's tough. It's tough to figure out exactly what's going to happen here, because you don't have like the most dynamic pass rusher ever, but you have, again, just a rare combination of traits with Landon Jacksoon. So going to be fascinating to see what ends up happening with him overall. Again, I like his game on tape a lot more than I liked what I saw at the Senior Bowl. I also thought left tackle Josh Conerly, who, I mean, some folks think he's going to be the top true tackle, offensive tackle off the board in late April, right? So, he's viewed as like a top 10, top 20 pick. The way I've kind of talked about Josh Conerly is, outside of Josh Simmons, who's coming off the injury, if there's one real deal prospect in terms of the length, the athleticism, the frame that projects to be a legitimate high upside left tackle in the NFL, it is Josh Conerly, right? But the tape is a little inconsistent, and I thought there were some fantastic reps in Mobile, so it wasn't just like a wash for him, right? I think there was more good reps than bad reps, but there was some really bad reps where guys ran through his face, or they were able to beat him around the outside arc, beat him on the inside. There were too many negative reps for someone, in my mind, who is projected to go really early, top 10, top 20. I have a second round grade on him. I think he kind of looked like a second round prospect out there. Again, when you weigh the fact that he does need development, but he has all the traits that you could ask for from a left tackle. He has the foot movement, the athleticism, the length. I think that he's added mass to his frame. Like, he's 6'4" and an eighth, which I know people are like, oh, tackles need to be tall. I could care less how tall they are. It's all about the length for me. 313 pounds. He's got big hands, 34-inch arms, good wingspan. Like, he's got all the traits you're looking for. You just need to develop more consistency, in my mind, with Josh Conerly. And you saw that out here. And then you talk about another guy kind of similar, even less consistent on tape, and that's Deone Walker, the defensive tackle out of Kentucky. And his first day was pretty bad, quite frankly. His first day at the Senior Bowl was pretty bad. And this guy's 6'7.25", 340 pounds, almost 11-inch hands, almost 35-inch arms, 7-foot wingspan. He's a monster out there. Now, a lot of the weight he carries is in the upper body. Like, his lower half does not look like it has a lot of mass on it, a lot of strength. But the biggest issue with him is he pops up out of his stance and exposes his chest. And when you do that, it's just difficult to gain leverage. It's difficult to create push. It's difficult to get past your opponent and create wreak havoc in the backfield. But On day 2, you saw him do that a lot more consistently. You saw him getting his hands on his opponent quicker. You saw him playing with better leverage, not playing it so upright. And when he did that, he was unblockable. So this is a question, again, how are NFL teams going to view it? It only takes one. It only takes one. And I would guess he's going to go in the second round. That's my prediction. His highs are like top 10 type of prospect. His lows are like you don't want him on the field. So it's a heck of a question mark there with Deone Walker. Excited to see what happens with him. I'll be rooting. And he's really young. I think he's still 20 years old. If not, he just turned 21. Jalen Milroe. And then Deone did not participate in practice on day 3. So you had one really down day, one really impressive day. How do you wait? Jalen Milroe. Really rough first 2 days in my mind. And then day 3 was his best day by far. And I thought he threw the deep ball well throughout the week, which is no surprise based on his tape. Like he can throw it down the field. It's getting through the reads quickly. It's getting the ball out on time. It's throwing accurately underneath in these easy mode situations where he just kind of struggles. A lot of people have said he's like a little robotic. I don't think he's got great like arm flexibility. So how do you weigh that if you're an NFL team? Because you know there's an unbelievable athlete who can throw a nice deep ball. Those are 2 really good traits that are hard to replicate at his level. But then it's like all the operational things. Can we feel comfortable with him? Do we just need to draft him and sit him for a while, have him develop? How can this play out with Jalen Milroe? That'll be a fascinating story to watch as well. Three offensive linemen we're going to round it out here with. Marcus Mbow. I don't know if it's Mbow or Bow. Y'all let me know. But the question is, why were they having him play tackle so much? I think the answer is, well, he's got 33-inch arms and he's got great foot quickness and he played tackle at Purdue this past year. But I think it's so clear, and it should have been clear on tape after day 1, that he should have been inside more. They got him a little work on the inside, but every day he was still working at tackle. To me, you got to put him at center. You've got to put him at center and see if you can get, because I think he has the potential to be an elite Pro Bowl caliber center. But on an island, it just doesn't look like he understands leverage. It doesn't look like he understands how to use his feet properly, how to get into his set properly. It seems like, he doesn't know the proper distance he's supposed to get on these slides. But you put him inside and just let him work. It's a lot less technical. He can be a beast. And he's got the snatch trap down. You saw it out here this week. He's got unbelievable athleticism. He's got good length for the interior. I think that he can play really well, especially at center, but even at guard as well. So would like to see him more. Would have liked to have seen him more on the inside. Wyatt Milum played tackle at West Virginia. I thought it was pretty clear that he's going to have to kick inside to play guard, and he was doing a lot of that. At the Senior Bowl, he struggled. He was leaning, playing out over his toes a lot, and he just didn't look comfortable. So do you trust the tape? Do you trust that this dominant tackle in college is someone we can figure out how to get the most out of as a guard or maybe a third tackle in the league, a swing tackle? He's got shorter arms. He's not a great athlete. That's a tough situation for Wyatt Milum, in my opinion. Going to be interesting to see how teams end up handling that. And then Jonah Savaiinaea. I thought overall when he kicked inside, he looked pretty good. But you saw him give up his chest, and Tim Smith absolutely wrecked him a couple times out of Alabama. So this is a guy that is a massive human being. He's actually got good length. I think you want him ideally inside at guard, but you cannot give up your chest the way he did a few times during practice. So that's something that you're going to have to coach up, and I think it is coachable. And I think it is something that you can clean up, and you can potentially have a Pro Bowl guard on your hands with Jonah Savaiinaea, but you've got to get that cleaned up. So that's the question mark about him that I have coming out of this week. And that's pretty much it. I thought everyone else, there was some level of expectations met, quite frankly, or negatively or positively. So that'll do it with my question marks coming out of the Senior Bowl. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Your question marks potentially about some of these prospects. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.